Some say that in the autumn, all his arms go brown and fall off. And that if he wrote you a letter of condolence, he would at least get your name right. All we know is he's called the Stog.
You mean the Stig?
That's what I said. I said it. Some say that he has some terrible plans involving the moon. And that he was turned down for a place on I'm a Celebrity because he is one. All we know is he's called the Stig! Some say that his new Christmas range of fragrances includes the great smell of Wednesday. And that he was turned down for the job of EU president because his face is just too recognisable. All we know is he's called the Stig. Some say that the drinks cabinet in his car contains 14 different types of custard. And that while he has been known to leave his house in a bit of a hurry, he's never once hit a fire hydrant. All we know is called the Stig. Some say that you shouldn't go round to his house for your Christmas lunch unless you enjoy the great taste of seagull. And that the reason he always wears a helmet is because a man once smashed him in the face with a model of Salisbury Cathedral. All we know is he's called the Stig. Some say that he has to take his shoes off with an Allen key. And that his New Year's resolution is to eat fewer mice. All we know is he's called the Stig. Some say that his discharge is luminous. And that even as we speak, he is appearing on the main stage at Glastonbury, performing his most famous hit, Superstition. All we know is he's called the Stig. Some say there are 17 different reasons why he's banned from the Northampton branch of Little Chef. And that his favourite airline pilot is Mark Webber. Mine too, actually. All we know, of course, is the Stig! Some say that if you hold him in the wrong way, he doesn't work properly. And that just very recently, he developed an irrational hatred of Rubens Barrichello. All we know is he's called the Stig. Some say that he spent all week daydreaming about what Rubens Barrichello would look like in a ham slicer. And that he's terrified the BBC will reveal his salary because he's paid in strong pornography. All we know is he's called the Stig. Some say the Scottish released him a little bit too soon. And that he spent all week pushing an effigy of Rubens Barrichello through his desk fan. All we know is he's called the Stig. Some say that he's recently been releasing pop records under the pseudonym of Lady Gaga. And that under his race suit, he also wears a red G-string and suspenders. All we know is he's called the Stig. Some say that he doesn't understand the word envelope. And that he is the only woman in Britain not to have slept with Alan Johnson's policeman. All we know is he's called the Stig. Some say he once tore a goat in half. And that he is now regretting buying his new holiday home in downtown Cairo. All we know is he's called the Stig. Some say his nipples are explosive. And that he's recently had a Mexican... I mean Brazilian! Why did I say that? I'm sorry, Mr. Ambassador. Anyway, all we know is he's called the Stig! Some say that in his wallet, he keeps a photograph of his wallet. And that In a recent race, even he was beaten by the King's Speech. All we know is he's called the Stig. Some say that his favourite disease he had when he was a child was gout. And that he was very surprised this week when he was able to pick up some remarkably cheap tickets for the Bahrain Grand Prix. All we know is he's called the Stig.